YouTube, it's Tom back with another one for you. This one I think you guys will like. This is for anybody that owns a house. This is the common law way to get your land patent. This is actually the only real title that you'll ever have to your house will be this. Anything else is going to be under the color of law. The deed, it's all going to be fiction, right? And so this is why they're able to steal your fucking houses from you, is because not one of you did this shit. I guarantee you not one motherfucker that got kicked out of their house that they paid for their whole fucking life, but couldn't afford to pay the taxes when they got old, or couldn't afford to pay the mortgage when they got sick, and they, you know what I mean? And they got fucking kicked out of their goddamn house. This was why, because they didn't do this shit. So I'm gonna run through this briefly as I can, right? It's a couple of pages. So what this says here, chapter 4, how to patent your ground. This has got to be the simplest action a man or woman can take that has such far-reaching effects. This is from the book called Allodial Title via Land Patent. That's what the book's called. Go fucking buy it. Find it online. Allodial Title via Land Patent. Go buy that shit. Right? Even though I'm gonna read to you what the fuck it says, how to get it done, you want to read the whole book. Buy that shit. Support that man. He did the fucking research and all that. You know what I'm saying? Don't be a piece of shit. Whatever you think you're gonna get for free out of anybody, you're gonna pay for it one way or another. I guarantee you that. So if you think you're gonna get over and get some free fucking anything in life, you're already fucked. So steps to patent your ground: by sending off for a certified copy of the original land patent for your property, right? Down at the down at the county registrar, right? And there'll be a clerk there, and we'll get into how to deal with the clerk. I have some videos on affidavits for demand for clerk to file the paperwork and shit like that. I have a clerk demand affidavit there, and so that's something that you're definitely going to be needing. So a certified copy of the original land patent for your property. Number 2, filling out the assignee's update of patent, and then number 3, filing it with the county recorder. You have created instant security. That piece of ground is yours. You may have to defend it in court, but with all the case law in a subsequent chapter, any attorney worth a grain of salt can win, and in very short order. And you don't even fucking need one. I mean, you know, when you see what it is that's really going on here, the fraud behind all this shit, you know, step-by-step little process. You go in there with some paperwork, have them sign over a fucking, what's it called, a quick claim deed over to you. You know what I'm saying? In order to not move forward with any fraud charges and shit like that against them. I don't see why they wouldn't do it. And then you let them keep whatever fucking revenue that they made off it, because they're making a shit ton of money off of you. Even though it's a fake fucking loan, they're fucking 10 times the value. They're writing off your house and their books as an asset and a liability. So fractal banking allows them to lend out 10 times the amount of whatever that supposed asset is, even though they never really had their hands on it, only had an interest in it. Well, I'm fucking interested in it too. Can I lend 10 times the fucking value of it? Probably. So you may have to fucking defend this, right? Any attorney worth a grain of salt can win, and in very short order. As more and more people learn about the patent and its power, challenges to your title will cease. That is, unless you are up to skullduggery. That means if you don't do shit and you just watch fucking TV all day, and you got a fucking mushy ass brain, they could probably still take it from you. Even though you have all your ducks in a row, they could still take it if you're a fucking asshole, basically is what this is saying. So when that patent is perfected in 60 days from the day you file it, you are in permanent, continuous, perpetual ownership of that ground. Right? And see how that works? So that's how you gotta start getting down if you really want to keep your shit and walk in there confident. You know, knowing that they can't do shit about it. So steps to patent your ground. Number 1, first, procure the legal description of your piece of ground. If you do not have it, you can get it at the assessor's office or the nearest title company. If not, this is what I'm saying. What I would do is get a plane survey done, and then you have the description of it there will be in leaps and bounds, and then you bring that shit over to your fucking, over to your county clerks and shit, and have them file a record of it there, and then you get confirmation and certified copies and shit like that too. And so second, find the address of your BLM office in the back of this book. Third, send your property's legal description along with a blank signed check on which you have written not to exceed $20. You don't exceed $20 because in common law, anything over $20 can be heard by a trial or jury of your peers, right? So you want to keep it under the 20, and a request for certified copy of the original land patent for your legal description. It will usually be for 160 acres, but you will patent only your legal description. Remember, that must be a certified copy. If yours is not certified, do not use it. It will invalidate your patent, and you will think you are protected, but if you had to go to court to defend it, you would lose. Number 4. When you get the certified copy of your original land patent, use it to fill out the assignee's update of patent form in the back of this book. Be sure to make the copies of the blank form so that you can give them to every landowner you know and then tell them how to do it. If you do not want to do that, then give the address of the American Sovereigns Group of Moses Lake, Washington, which is in one of the other posts that I did there regarding the land patents and allodial title. You have that there. And if you guys need if you need this book, just send me an email. I'll send it to you. I'm obviously not charging you for it and shit like that, so I don't think it'll be a copyright thing or anything like that, but who knows. So then they can, but I would recommend you just go buy the fucking thing if you're gonna do this. They can write and get their own book. Our job is to make sure every sovereign American and those not so sovereign are protected in their land. We also want to cut off the purse string so we can get some sound fiscal management out of these so-called public servants. Then instead of buying votes with entitlement programs, they will be elected by how well they manage rather than how good they are at giving away our country and our money. Right? Bankrupt organizations trying to capitalize on the ignorance of the fucking American people. They've been doing it for a long time. Long time. 5th, take the completed unsigned assignee's update to patent to the nearest notary and have it notarized. Make sure everyone who has an interest in the property has signed the update. Your wife, husband, those with fiduciary interest, bankers, speculators will find out when you send them your notice that you have updated the patent on your property. You should then execute a trust agreement with your lender so that his interests are protected. Excuse me. Number 6, take the signed, notarized update of patent, the certified copy of the original land patent, and your declaration of homestead, optional, to your county recorder's office and present it for recording. This will cost you about $20 to $40 depending on the number of pages you have and the number of pieces of property you have. Only one declaration of homestead per person. 7th, go to the local paper and publish a notice for 3 days running of what you just did along with a legal description of the property. Yours will be similar to the one in the back of this book. So a lot of people think you have to do it for 3 weeks, and that's not what it means. It means just 3 days running and shit. So I would do it for 3 weeks. I would probably run it on the cheapest day of the fucking week 3 times. You know what I'm saying? That's a magic number too with all these processes, administrative process and all that. You know that number 3 is a magic number, right? The beginning of the fucking 369 triangle, vortex, portal, all that. So that's, they fucking incorporated all into all this shit. So this will suffice as notice to all who have equity interest in your property. There are a lot of fools out there that are going to read this and immediately attempt to steal their neighbor's land. On the surface, it appears that you can just do that. However, when you research the law, one of the areas that a land patent can be attacked is via fraud. Fraud vitiates anything it touches. That means nullifies, and then you can come under common law, and that is a jurisdiction that you cannot hide from. There are 2 rules that a sovereign must abide by. You cannot infringe on the right of another sovereign. You must keep all contracts that you enter into knowingly, intentionally, and voluntarily, right? So you can't be forced to enter into any fucking contract where you have obligations that were not stated in the stipulations prior to being signed in wet ink. That's on top of the fact that if they can't produce a wet ink signed contract at any point that you're ever in court, these motherfuckers are what the fuck are they doing if they're not fucking producing that every time you go in there? They're counting on you being ignorant and entering into some bullshit contract with them verbally, and then they can fuck you like that. That's what they do. So if you steal my ground via a technicality, you have infringed on my right to own property, and I have a recourse. We are going to be in a period of upheaval because the bankers attempted to destroy our allodial titles, and we are going to pay the price until we can get it back on track. Allodial title, that means that you went to your county and you fucking made a record. You didn't register it. You register it, you give it away. If your title has the state's name on it, it's not yours. And if you think you own your fucking house, read your mortgage paperwork. You're a fucking tenant. You're a tenant in your own fucking, in what you thought was your own house until you do this shit. This is why they're losing their fucking house. Anybody that has a house, send this shit to them. Share this shit with them. 8. Make a copy of the foregoing documents and send them to everyone who has an equitable interest in your property. You will hear some anguished howls, but after the initial consultation with a knowledgeable attorney, you won't hear anything. In fact, you won't hear anything. What the fuck are they gonna do? If you want to be real, they can't win, but you can be assured that that they will pray for your continued prosperity so they get paid on time. Now, if your lender is astute and he's not a corporation, he will have already filed his patent, which you will get when you pay off your ground. I would also strongly suggest that you make arrangements with the holder of equity interest in your ground for him to take silver or gold instead of Federal Reserve notes. You have them paid off your debt. Not satisfied it with limited obligation, which is what happens when you pay it with Federal Reserve notes. This is basically debt notes. So that is what you do when you use Federal Reserve notes. Then there can never be a question about your patent, for there will be no mistakes, no fraud. It will be paid in lawful money, gold or silver, right? And they can't fucking demand any certain type of currency either. Even though they like to think that they can, but they're not legally fucking allowed to demand any certain species of currency. So number 9, ninth, wait 90 days until your patent is perfected and re-recorded on the front page of your update of patent. Just a little insurance to be sure the servant doesn't futz with the document. If your recorder is honest and smart, you will have no trouble. He will record your paperwork. The law does give him the right to make a legal determination as to what to file. The law does not give him the right. The law does not give him the right to make a legal determination of what to file and what not to file. Right? And so you can see that too in my video of the clerk demand affidavit. Check that out. This is what puts them in a position to have to do their fucking job. It uses United States code that shows that they have an obligation of fucking and a duty at that to do their fucking job. And if they have a problem with it, then there's lines there for them to fill out why they don't want to do their fucking job and and that's an easy reason to figure out why they should get another one. You know what I'm saying? So that is the court's duty. However, if he does not question you, ask him. These are the 3 questions mentioned. To show your state's code what his job is, point out to him the law. It is the same in every damn state or close enough, but you can just use United States code if they want to be stupid, which they're all subject to as well. If he still does not record your documents, then demand a copy of his surety bond, the name of his insurance carrier for that bond, your letter of fucking intent to go ahead and place the claim on the bond for the value of your time and maybe even your home, depending on how much you feel is worth. If they don't fucking do their job, because they have a fucking duty, an obligation, right? Inform him that it is CYA, cover your assets because you intend to file a claim with his insurance company against his bond. A lot of them are duped and don't know they are being used. At this point, he is going to start hollering for risk management. Go ahead, because that's where you're going to find his bond anyway. So if you don't want to give it to you, call fucking risk management and they'll fucking give it to you. This is when risk management usually caves in. Some may be obstinate and continue to fight, but eventually they can't handle the pressure. If risk management gets stubborn, you can also file against their surety bond as well. Look at that. When the insurance company who looks at it dispassionately tells them that if they continue, they will lose, because they will, and they'll lose big, right? You might also inform the recorder of what the consequences are when he loses, which he will do because the law is on your side. Even if they're known kangaroo courts, those consequences are a loss, a deductible, right? So they're writing it off. If the loss is big enough, he loses pension, benefits, and eventually if it goes far enough and he is convicted of denying your constitutional right, he loses his job, house, and the whole 9 yards. Oh yeah, and you get the house and the assets, right? So that's what the fuck I'm talking about. Now you see the power of this common law. Do you see the power of this common law? I hope you do. I really hope you do. Number 10. Make copies of your land patent and post it on all 4 corners of your property. You are telling the world that this is your sovereign's castle, right? Stake your fucking ground. Throw your flag in all fucking 4 corners. This shit is mine. There is no other thing there is one other thing that you should remember also. That person you are dealing with is or can be a sovereign citizen who is asleep. If you are a gentle but firm, you just might wake them up, and when we have another ally in the struggle. Make no mistake, it is a struggle. And if you have been hoodwinked into believing that you are a mouse when in fact you're a lion, I also bet that depending on how asleep you were, you are going to roar very loud at anyone or anything in your path to freedom and liberty, right? Our founding fathers knew that the true absolute ownership of land was the cornerstone to freedom and liberty. You now know how to patent your land and arrive at a allodial title and ownership. The rest is up to you. You may capitulate and knuckle down to an unjust or illegal rule, or you could be the captain of your fate and the master of your soul. Now, it is truly your choice, as you know how to do it. It is not theory, it is fact. We have done it. You can too. See what that is? So anybody you know having a problem with their fucking property, their mortgages, whatever the fuck, if they're getting kicked out of the house, all that shit, send this shit to them, because you're going to be doing them a favor, right? Buy the fucking book. I'm pretty sure you can get it online. Download the fucking thing, read it, and get your fucking property. The shit is yours. Keep that shit. Who the fuck's going to tell you different? Shit. It's a fucking game of chess. Stop playing checkers. Right? That's what I got for you for now. Until we meet again.